All right. Hello. Good morning. Let's talk. We're gonna pick up from yesterday. I had pictures yesterday, but we're okay with drawing new ones, right? What we're doing is we are subscribing to YouTube, the pub sub hubbub, hub, something like that. And then that's going to, hopefully, is going to talk to our little application here, our listener. What we did yesterday was we got that created. And then we dealt with some drama offline. And then, yeah, we kind of paused. So what we're going to do now is we are going to pick up where we left off. So I really haven't done much since last time we talked. I'm going to remind you that I'm here, like, interrupt. Right? Like, I'm here. Yeah, for you. Like, yeah. I have no agenda or schedule. I'm exploring. I'm getting reps in. I'm just trying to practice, and I'm having fun. So this is what we're doing, and I'm glad you're here. So let's pick up and let's show where we are. We did this yesterday. GitHub.com, Java Grunt, not the Twitch service. We did the YouTube listener. So if you want to follow along, here's where it is. This is the code that we did yesterday, 15 hours ago. You can see here, last night I made some additional changes. I had to change my JGitver. The way that I was building my images was being messed up. So I changed a couple of things, but I made these GitHub actions, and hopefully you can go and click on these and check them out, because what I'm doing here is I'm making two different versions. I'm making an AMD 64 native. Hey, I am so happy that you are here. This is awesome, and you know exactly what I'm doing here. I'm talking about how I'm building these native images using the Spring Boot Maven plugin. And what I've done is, because I'm on ARM64, just like you are, Daniel, I have two pipelines. So over here, I've got two pipelines. I've got one here in my GitHub Actions that goes out and it builds the AMD 64. So I use the GitHub Actions, their builders, to build an AMD 64 version. We can take a look and we'll see here in the build, it's just using Spring Boot build image with the -p native. So here when we build image, at the bottom, it goes through all the steps, just like it would on your machine. It takes a long time because it's got those logs. But I want you to see here, at the end, right, the image that I built, I tagged it with the x86 64, right? So I have an OCI image that's a native image for x86 64. Now, I did the same thing for ARM64, but GitHub doesn't have ARM64 builders today, but CircleCI does. And if you go back and watch past streams, CircleCI, I was very, very surprised with how amazing. Good morning, Simon. Simon Verhoeven. I always say your name and everybody just knows who Simon is, and I'm glad that you're here. But I honestly, I keep on forgetting your last name. So I'm gonna try to practice it. Simon Verhoeven. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, good day. I hope that you're doing wonderful. Yesterday I started working on this thing. It's gonna add on to some of the other stuff that you might have seen. We have this YouTube pub sub hubbub. We're gonna subscribe to that so that we can get events when we create new videos on YouTube. And then we're gonna get an Atom XML packet bits around that. But I did that part yesterday. I made this listener. Haven't really validated it yet. We got to push it to production because we're going to give that YouTube pub sub hubbub. We're going to give it the URL to our listener, and then we'll do the next steps. We tested it locally. We got it going, but I needed to deploy it. I needed to deploy it to Kubernetes. I'm creating these 2 different images, but the way that I deploy it, after I create these 2 images, I create a manifest. So what that manifest does is I can give my container, I upload this manifest, and the manifest is built up of both of these OCI images. They're kind of glued together. But when you ask for the manifest, if you're on AMD 64, you'll get the AMD 64 version. So let me show you what that looks like. Right, the native image stuff, it's not cross-platform, right? We can't do that. So here, I made this com Java Grunt listener YouTube. It's already got 17 downloads, which fantastic. I made this, but inside of there, I've got multiple tags. Hey, Andrew, welcome in. Good morning. I hope you're having a good day. My name is Deshaun. I'm a Spring Developer Advocate. I'm here to help. I'm here to co-work with you. I'm just getting reps in. I'm just practicing. So feel free to ask questions, all the things. Interrupt me. I'm here to help. I'm trying to be that. I'm working remote. You're working remote, and back during the panini, during the pandemic, folks like Jitter Ted and and others. I would keep them up on the other screen just so I had somebody else kind of coding with me, like a coworker, like, hey, what are you working on? And getting that extra stuff, that's what I want to do. And I'm going to be here every morning, 8:30 to 10:30. But I'm going to work on Spring, and I'm going to do some Kubernetes stuff. So yesterday, I made these images. I built the Docker manifest. All of that code is available in my repo here. I showed the building of the x86 native image, and then after that, I go and I build this manifest. And the cool thing about the manifest, let me see if I can pull that open. The cool thing about the manifest is it has this little retry. Oh, Big Sheddy. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to show these GitHub actions. So after I build both of the images, because I start off in GitHub, usually the GitHub one finishes first. So the way that it works, it says, hey, let me try to pull this other image, the ARM64 image that got created over on Circle CI. It normally takes a little bit longer. So let's go take a look over there. And it's only because I think Circle CI is doing the, and I'm curious. I think you guys can see this. I think it's public. You should be able to see that dashboard. I'm trying to make as much of this visible as possible. So this one ran 15 hours ago. Again, this one created that ARM64 native image. It took 6 minutes. So they're not going to finish at the same time. So what do you do when you're creating these 2 different native images and you want to glue them into a manifest? Well, I've done this a few times. So what I do is I ask, hey, in my GitHub action, I say, hey, can you pull this image? I know what name is going to be. Can you pull that image for me? And if you can't, we'll just wait 60 seconds and try again. Up to 6 times. So 6 minutes, right? That should be plenty of time. Sorry, going back over here to this pipeline, right? It took 6 minutes, 7 seconds. So that loop should be enough time for me to get that other image. And once it does that, once it's able to get that Docker pull, then it goes over here and it does this manifest. And this is how it's set up. I've got 2 native images. I'm going to create this new manifest that doesn't have the architecture tag on it. Just like when you grab, fun fact, like when you grab Nginx, Nginx. If you're on ARM64, you're going to get the ARM64 version. Not native necessarily, but actually probably then it would be. You're going to get the ARM64 version. And if you're on an x86, you'll get the x86 version. This has been around. This is nothing new. This has been around for a long time. But a lot of us, like me, I didn't really have a need for it just yet. So this is what I'm doing. So I've built this, and now I'm working on the Flux. I use Flux CD to deploy my things. I decided that I was going to, hello, Pink Emma, good day. Good day. I'm picking up where I left off yesterday. We're trying to, finish this kind of YouTube event pipeline so we can do some more interesting things when we're done uploading or editing a YouTube video. So we're just picking up where we left off, and I'm kind of, uh-oh, my screen went blank, and I don't know why. Did that go blank for you? That was weird. So here we are. My screen just went blank again. Like, I can see that it's good over here, but I just don't see the image. So that's concerning. Like, everything is working, but my screen is not visible. And I'm not sure what to do here. Oh, and it's gone up there. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to, I have too many things happening right now. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna close up some things. And quit. But I still don't have my screen back. So I got some technical difficulties on my side. Please hold. Please continue to hold. I've got to figure out why I can't see my screen. Please hold. I'm flying blind. This is so like super unprofessional, right? Like, what is even happening? It's going through to the others, and I can see it here, but I'm just not seeing it on my screen. So hold on. I was messing with this earlier. So I might have to switchy some stuff. Yeah, I got all sorts of red lights behind my monitor. Not good. Oh, I hope this works. It's not working yet. Signal, nope. Oh boy. Well, this is a little frustrating. Oh yeah, my screen completely disappeared. Please hold. I might have to, I know I can do this without having to end the stream. I can deal with these technical difficulties in another way. But it might just, take a little bit extra work. And that's all right. So let's jump in to our stream from another camera. And welcome. I'm gonna fix that. So that's happening. We're happening. Yeah, we're gonna try this. I might have to restart this other computer. That one's still up. Welcome in, everybody. And I'm having some technical difficulties. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna restart this other machine. That's what I get for messing around early. I came in early and I was streaming over on caffeine. And yeah, now I'm having technical issues. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna restart this one. And it's just going to be me over here. So yeah, bear with me while I restart. And how about this? Tell me what you're working on today while I restart. What's happening? We're going to get into the YouTube listener. We're going to build it. We're going to deploy it. We're going to take it up to production, and we are going to validate it. We got to get this. It's not okay for me. I don't like stopping at the okay, I built this thing. I like to take it to production. Pink Emma says, I wasted a day opening Secret Santa gifts and discussing reseller. Wonderful. I mean, it could be worse, right? It could be worse. We're going to take things to production. It's just going to be a minute. I got to restart. I want to get back to where I'm at. All right, now my monitor's back. This is good. I had an Elgato game capture thing so I could take my video out to another monitor. And just didn't want to cooperate. So it's going to take a minute for me to get back in. But once I get back in, we'll keep on going. We're going to take this stuff to production. The YouTube listener part, not that crazy, because we're going to subscribe to this webhook, and we just need something to be listening. Now, I had thoughts because what we saw was the documentation is kind of thin, and we don't know like what headers it's going to come from. We don't know where, what URLs is going to be calling from. So we might have to check some things out. We might have some exploring to do because by default, I want to make sure. Let's do this. Hopefully you can hear me now, and we will bring back our screen. We are going to do some reswizzling. We're going to test. We're going to make sure that, like, when you deploy these webhook listeners, like, do I need to have multiple instances? Are they going to do the yes, right? I'm going to do some experiments. I want to know if I subscribe to that webhook and my one instance on my Raspberry Pi is down, will it retry? What are the expectations? I know how that goes. Good luck. Good luck in your meeting. And congrats on keeping up with the advent of code. That's always fun. This is kind of my advent of code. No, I'm just getting a head start on New Year's. I'm getting a head start on New Year's. Where's my IDE? And let me get a terminal. Trying to get my secrets and stuff figured out. My conventions are this. The work that I do is in fun. Java.com. We're going to take a look here. We're going to open that up. So here's the cool thing. Like I talked about that, the multi-architecture image. When we deploy this, let's do it this way. When we deploy this, what we're going to see is that I don't have to, I'm going to give it just that regular, the address for the manifest. So this is where that lives in my registry. It just lives at the manifest. And then based on whether I'm deploying it to a NUC or a Raspberry Pi or an Ampere, I'm going to get the right image. I'm going to get the right OCI image automatically, either the AMD 64 or the ARM 64. So I don't like have 2-hour meetings where I'm right and I have to go behind people's back to get it my way. They know I'm right. They just need to accept the situation. Oof. There's nothing like a little bit of drama going, bringing in the end of the year. I feel it. I understand. So here we are. We have our different applications. I've got it not deployed. I got to go one more step because remember I'm working on this kind of platform. I'll whisper it. It's not really a platform. It's just the way that I'm deploying things to different clusters. But it's all out in the open. So this is my flux control. This is the pattern I like so far. So let's take a look at what that means. We can do it in here. I've got a bunch of different clusters. A bunch of different stuff. I was going to deploy it here, but I ran into some issues. So now today I'm just deploying it to my laptop. And this is where we're at. So let's see what that looks like. Oops, I'm in the wrong folder here. I need to go into Flux Control. I get some secrets there. And I will do my best not to put secrets up on the screen. So that is my long password, so I don't have to have secrets on my disk. But now I've got access to all of my secrets that are in Bitwarden. And we talked about that before. So here we are. I've got a cluster that's called K3D Juice. That's my daily driver. And in this cluster, I've deployed Deshaun.io and JavaGrunt.com, these tenants. Those tenants point to my GitHub repositories. So let's go github.com. Remember, if you're going to follow along, JavaGrunt-com. This is where you'll be. So inside of JavaGrunt.com, we have this repository, the project that we built yesterday, and we have this little Flux repository that has instructions on how to deploy this. So it's going to scale to 0. When you scale up, give me 3 instances, and that's where we're at. But you can't access that yet because I don't have Cloudflare. I don't have an ingress. So we're at my house. This is what it looks like. I've got these networks. Right now we're over here in this region. And for Cloudflare, right, I made a change. I made a change. So here, yeah, we'll do that. Cloudflare D. So what I've done is I've said, hey, I've got one for Deshaun-io. I've got a tunnel. So this, and actually I haven't tested it. So I made some changes. So let's take a look. I'll show you what I did. I said for Deshaun.io, it's just me on my laptop. So let's go in here. All the information for this tenant is down here in this tenants Deshaun.io. Let's go take a look. And here in tenants Deshaun.io, it's got how I set up RBAC. It knows where to go and sync that Deshaun.io Flux repository by convention. Hello. That thing that we talked about, that's being worked on. I'm glad that you're here. And yeah, just know that it is being worked on. So I've pushed it up and we'll see. So stay tuned regarding that email. And I hope you're having a good day. Thanks for being here. I am deploying a Spring Boot app now. I'm trying to make it visible. So the way that I normally do this is I have Cloudflare D set up. So the way that works is I don't have to have any ports open inside my house. When I want to provide access outside of my house, I deploy Cloudflare D, and Cloudflare D says, hey, Cloudflare, I'm over here. For this tunnel, I'm over here in this region, and you can send traffic to me. I can actually have it be in multiple regions, and then I can let Cloudflare decide how to route traffic, right? So this is my other network. And the thing is, with things like Spring Cloud Gateway, I can move this into Azure. I can do the same thing over here with Oracle Cloud, right? OCI. And if I want to move this workload, I can literally have it running anywhere. And I don't have to set up ingress or load balancers. All I need to do is set up my cluster, and I can say, hey, here's how you connect to me. So this is what we're doing. We're setting up Cloudflare D, and we are going to test. So I made a change where I moved the way I set it up. I moved it around. So one of the things I did was I only gave it one replica. So I just made this change. I just rebuilt this cluster. So let's take a look at it and see if it's working, because we want to get this Java Grunt YouTube listener working. So we're connected to that. Let's make sure we've got nodes. So no, because I just rebooted my computer, my machine is not up. So I got to stand up Docker. I'm running K3D on top of Docker. So I just have regular Docker desktop, but now that Docker is up, I should have this, and boom. So it was that fast, and it's up, it's running, cool. So now let's go, this is a slightly better view. Let's take a look at what's deployed, because, okay, it's starting up. So we can see that I've got a namespace for Deshaun-AO. I don't see one for Java Grunt. So this is a problem. So let's see what's happening. It's deploying its things, but what I expected, oh wait, no. I'll bet you that the service, hey, Code Core, welcome in. Here's what's happening. So I believe that my namespace is there, but I don't have Cloudflare D. Cloudflare D needs to be listening all the time, but the services behind it do not. So that's a tiny little image. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure, and you can help me test this, just like yesterday, I need somebody to go to https intro.deshaun.io. I need one of you to hit that because you're outside of my network, and I want you to hit that URL, and what it should do, my laptop, my little K3D juice should say, hey, I'm over here, send that traffic to me, and we should see it scale up here. And if not, then I've got something wrong. So fingers crossed. I'm waiting for one of you to hit it. I'm not going to do it. Response, upstream connect error, disconnect, reset before headers. Okay, so we have an issue. So this says it's running. And now what oh, there it goes. It just took a sec. So now we can see that it scaled up, and somebody hit it and got a response back that said 725 days. So that's good. So cool. Code Core, can you try again? Yeah, so it might have, my cluster was just coming up, and we have to, my Cloudflare D instance had to say, hey, Cloudflare, this is where I'm at, and it establishes some connections. Thank you, perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now we're cooking with gas. So now the problem is, you can see that I have this. If we stop hitting it, then this is going to scale down, right? Because we did a native image, and that scale up, scale down is going to happen in milliseconds, right? Because we used Spring Boot. We made a native image. It's going to start up that fast. We know that. So it's terminating because it's scaling down. Cool. And there's others scaling up. So yeah, like there's going to be latency in my requests to you on the streams. So you're now just watching this scale up. Now remember, this Kubernetes is running on top of Docker Desktop on my daily driver. So I've got multiple instances of my IDE open. I've got Slack open. I've got Chrome. I got all the things running. And I'm still able to do this, and I'm serving stuff to you remotely. So this is where we are. We're able to do this, and this is production-ish, because, right, you're able to hit it. So let's keep on going, because right now I don't have one set up for Java Grunt, and that's where I need to get. I need to get this ingress, because I can show you this clear. If I go kn service list-a, oh, no, kn service list. I can see that my Java Grunt YouTube listener is deployed, but it doesn't have any ingress. There's nothing saying, hey, yeah, come in. I could hit it locally, but I'm not going to do that. That's no fun. So I want you to understand all the things. And remember, this is stuff that can be done on a single Raspberry Pi, on a $15 Raspberry Pi. So these native images, it's ARM64. This is my Mac box. We'll switch it over to Raspberry Pis later. But yeah, we're going to validate this. So now what I've done is I said, hey, let me get a similar setup. I think I only need one replica for Cloudflare D. And let's scroll down. We're gonna set up all the secrets and configure the tunnel. So this is where I was before things broke, before I started the stream, is I need to run this. I'm going to put that information into Kubernetes. And I think what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do it on another screen because that one's probably going to have some secrets in it. So please hold. I'm going to just push it over here, but I'll go back to the picture so we can see this is what I'm trying to do. So now I've got Deshaun.io is working, right? And I've got both of these tenants deployed, but I just don't have Cloudflare D set up. Now, I could easily, and this is what I've done, I could easily set up one tunnel and have both of the domains set up, both of the tenants set up on that same tunnel. And I was doing that before. Like that's one of the changes I made. I was doing that before, but if I want to be able to move tenants across different clouds, I decided that maybe it's better inside of the tenant to have their own Cloudflare D configuration. So that's where we're at. I'm going to deploy this. And so I don't need this, right? My tunnel is not Deshaun.io. My tunnel here is going to be Java grunt -com. And it's going to get its credentials from here for the ingress, right? So now here's the thing. This YouTube listener is going to get a URL, and it's going to look like this: YouTube listener, right? Dot. It doesn't have to be. I can make it intro. I can make it whatever I want, but I have to make it a top level. So I'm going to do that way. So let me reiterate what I was just saying. This is happening. The tunnel endpoint is happening at Cloudflare. In this one, I'm saying, hey, here's my tunnel. I want to connect to this tunnel. But I want to be listening for not intro.deshaun.io. That's what we were doing on the other one. I want to be listening for YouTube listener.javagrunt.com. And when something comes in looking for YouTube listener.javagrunt.com, what I want to do is I'm going to do this, kn service list -a. I want to pass it to this, right? It's got the javagrunt.com or -com namespace. That's the tenant. That's the service. And these are all my clusters, right? That's consistent across all the clusters. So that I can move, right? So that I can move these workloads, these tenants, I can move them around all the clusters. You got to have some kind of conventions to make it easy. And that's just what I chose. Not saying that's the best one. That's just what I chose. I would love to hear yours if you've got a better approach. So I'm editing this. I grab that, and it's here, hitting knative service, local, and these are the things that we're changing. YouTube-listener, and this one just changes to javagrunt-com. So I can deploy this right now, but it won't have those secrets. I made some changes. I think we're good. Again, we're using Flux CD to do all this. And I have Flux CD managing all of my clusters and all of my tenants. And I can choose which infrastructure I put on the different clusters. So let's keep going. Git add, git commit. We adding Cloudflare D for Java. I'll just leave it there. Okay. So now I will have I want to show this. So now I will have a Cloudflare D getting deployed. It won't have, do I use GitHub Copilot? Yes. Yes, I do. Sometimes. I haven't really like leaned in on it or anything, but yes. Yes, I absolutely pay for it. It is worth it. What I expect to see here is a JavaGrunt-com Cloudflare D coming up. That's what I expect. And I could be expecting wrong. If I do this, kube, cuddle, get customizations, -A, I should see, oh, it looks like things are going. Oh, I don't know if it's going to pick it up. I don't know if it's going to pick it up. So I know how to fix that. In order to like say, hey, make sure you go do this, I'm just going to run this again. Like just go do all the things for this. I don't know Flux CD as well as I should because I want those like nested things. I want them to be scanned, pulled as well. And I don't have that set up just right. So now, hopefully, let's take a look again. Maybe. And how do you generally, no, listen, you're not derailing anything. So I want to remind you and everybody that this is the deal. I'm here to ask questions, right? I want to be next to you. I want to be working with you and be that person that's on the other side of the desk, right? That's the picture that's in my head, because that's what I had. And again, I'm talking mainly about Jitter's head. That's what I felt like I had. And like, you know, when all the conferences were virtual, I was just keeping stuff on the screens and I felt like I was learning passively. But I also was able to like jump in the chat and ask questions. That's what I want to do. So general workflow is like, I don't like lean into it. I love getting like the little tips and autocomplete stuff along the way. But yeah, I'm plugged in. I don't know why my JavaGrunt-com isn't showing up. And is it because it doesn't have the secret? Well, let's go do that and we'll figure it out from there. So I'm going to make a new window. I'm going to build the secret over here. So yeah, it's just, I have it installed. I use IntelliJ. It's there. Every once in a while, I just get, you know, the extra brain. Pink Emma, how do you say it? My good friend and coworker. Emma, I like the way she says it. I don't remember. Yeah, my good friend and coworker, ChatGPT. Perfect. I'll pick it up. But yeah, it just helps out along the way. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get my Cloudflare D installed for JavaGrunt-com. And I've given myself some instructions to go run. They're here for you to use as well. So I created the Cloudflare D tunnel. I'll show you this. Cloudflare D tunnel list. So I've got these tunnels set up for the different tenants. And this is the one I'm trying to install. And you can see it's not connected to anything. So I need to do that. I just want somebody to argue with me when I can't make a decision. That sounds like a great idea. And also considering Black Box AI as it's free. That sounds great too. I have not seen it. Like, there's so many tools out there, but I don't know if you were around. The whole idea here, what we're gonna do, why this YouTube thing is so cool is what we're gonna do is, like this video, We're going to send it up. And what's going to happen at the end of the stream, hopefully we're going to get an event. And that event's going to come over here to our listener. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take from there. Let me move this up here. We took this project that Duan started, github.com, lab every day. This YouTube analysis assistant, Duan made this so that it'll go and look at your YouTube video and get the transcript and do a summary, right? So let's make our new box. All right, this is what we're trying to do. We have a YouTube starter for spring. We've been working on that on the stream with Anand and Josh. So we have this YouTube starter, and then we've got this YouTube. That's over here at GitHub, YouTube Atoms. And what we're going to do there is it's going to spit out a summary, SEO tags. Like, hey, what do we talk about today? If I say Kubernetes, K3D, K3S, Knative serving. What are the topics that we're talking about? If I say those things a bunch, it's going to say, oh yeah, you were talking about Kubernetes and K3D. And it's going to give me those as tags, right? The AI analysis tool is going to do that for me. The other thing is I'll have it do the thumbnail. It's going to use DALL-E to create a thumbnail image. So cool. And then eventually we'll have that like spit back and go back to YouTube, right? And update the video. Let me do this over here. Right? Like, how cool is that? Like, we're gonna do a stream. It's gonna let us know. I've got this little Spring Boot app that's gonna listen for it, right? Because we gave it the URL, right? The URL is YouTube listener. Hello. .javagrunt.com. Right? That's what we're trying to get set up. It's going to publish that Atom XML. From that Atom XML, we're going to grab the video ID. Then that video ID is going to get passed to our YouTube starter. Sitting on top of, well, it's kind of the other way around. Let me do this. X. Here's what's going to happen. This thing is using the YouTube starter. And I'm going to put a little, actually I'll do it like this, boop. Okay, here. Do it like this. Let me put that URL out there because these are just little fun things. GitHub.com, Sean. I forked Anand's. I think Anand is pulling in his changes. This is the one I'm using, but you can see it's forked here. So I'm going to put that out there, and we'll get to that next, right? Because we got to do first things first. We got to start at the beginning of the pipeline. But I want you to be able to follow along. So there we go. This is what we're doing. This is wouldn't this be fun to do before Christmas? A fun little project to work on over the break. So here's where we are. We got this. We're trying to get this deployed. I'm going to make some secrets, and then we're going to keep on going because the Spring Boot app works, right? Yeah. So I need to get Google Translate. Se ha unido. I don't know what that means. So let me go over to translate.google.com. Say, oh, it just means you joined. Has joined. Perfect. So welcome in. So let's keep on going, right? It's just a Spring Boot app. Right now, I am working on just getting my broker service up so I can refactor this monolithic application into microservices. That makes sense. That makes sense, right? That is a good approach sometimes, right? So I'll be honest, I, in my brain, I was kind of defaulting to the microservice approach, but now, yep, one thing responsible for too many things. Now, I'm into this modulith idea, which this could definitely be turned into a modulith, but it could be. It could be turned. These guys could be combined, and they could be turned into a modulith. But then it's kind of harder to talk about the one little piece, right? We're gonna have to revisit this. I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit. Because they could be. It's tiny, right? We're doing native images. They're sitting on Raspberry Pis. Do I really need to have multiple things running? So yeah. Hello, sir. I am building, or I built yesterday. Let's just go and show that off. Let's do what we did. It wasn't anything fancy. I just built it quick. Oops, do I have it? The YouTube listener. Let's go ahead and, no, I don't even need to do that. We'll close this window. Let's start it up. Source, no, I want to do it from the build. Okay, let's start it up. MENW Spring Boot run. So we're gonna run this. And this is going to start up similar to what it's going to do in production. So it's up. Let's take a look. I put docs so you can kind of see what's happening. It's a YouTube listener service. I've got some health endpoints. Really, this was just kind of to show REST docs, documenting my service, using the tests. So I wanted to have tests in there, say, hey, cool. So one of the tests is to take this feed, right, from YouTube. The idea is going to get some Atom XML. It's going to post it to my URL. And then I'm going to do something with it. I don't know what yet. It's going to look like this. So the first thing we're doing is this. We want to be able to subscribe to this YouTube pub sub hubbub. That's what we're doing. So this is the app that we built. This is what it looks like. It's deployed locally. I built the container images. The repository is here for you to grab it and play with it. Updates, pull requests are welcome. This is where we're at. This is what we built yesterday. So here's the code that we're working with. And earlier I showed I've got these GitHub actions. And this is like a valuable thing. And I'll tell you why. These GitHub actions are making two different images. They're making a native image. So we're taking my Spring Boot app, which has a JVM and it has Tomcat and all the things, but it's Spring Boot enterprise grade. It's got production ready features like the actuator and things plugged in. It's Kubernetes native. Using the Spring Boot Maven plugin, I can build these native images. And then what I'm doing here is I've made a little pipeline that you can go look at where I'm gluing these two native images together into a Docker manifest so I can deploy this app, this little YouTube listener. I can deploy it to Raspberry Pis or Nooks or my desktop. Because you might be in a situation, and this is the thing, is like one of my world famous drawings, right? You want to do git commit, and you want to get to production. I'm a Spring developer advocate, so I'm out. I'm working with folks like you and understanding what does it look like. How are you taking things to production? And I know that as a developer, you really don't want to think about much more than git commit, right? The things that happen on the way to production are less of a concern. You want it to get there, but there's some expectations on what you would get at the end, but the things in between, eh. But you might have a big application, a big, a monolith or a monolith, like CodeCore is working with, right? You might have a bunch of things. It may be a monolith today, but it might end up being dozens of different services. So if you are like me, you're running on ARM64, and you're like me, you want to have multiple things running on your machine, then what do? Right? If you've got dozens of services, what I'm recommending here, what I'm trying to get to, is I want to have my path to production take care of it. And I want to let my teammates use these things locally without a worry. Well, how do you do that? Well, if some of my team is running a Mac, Apple Silicon or Raspberry Pis, and the rest of my team is using Nooks or Dells or whatever, right? I don't want them to have to change their configuration. I don't want them to have to change like, oh, wait, I'm on this, and then we've got a bunch of different configs deployed. No, my path to production is going to build native images so I can give my friends native images so they can run dozens of these services locally like I'm doing. So this says, shouldn't that be handled based upon the GitHub repo structure you are using? Shouldn't that be handled? So I put, let's go back. This part right here. So my repository it's here. I want you to be able to do this, right? There's interesting things in here that we built together. But the value here of just showing like, hey, here's an example that you can go and do is you can go and build the ARM64 version and an AMD 64 version. So you can run this on whichever one. Hello. Thank you for your help yesterday. We're just picking up where we left off and we're trying to keep going. Oh boy. That's no good. I wish you the best. I remember what that feels like. Yeah, I just wish you the best. And thanks for hanging out. So I'll try to be a little bit not as excited, right? If you're having one of those headache hangovers. So I'm trying to get things to production. And you know what I'm missing though? I'm missing some music. I apologize for this, but like, I need to like fill in it. So this is chill music. So hopefully it won't mess with the hangover too much, but we're going to take this application and we're going to try to get it to production. But this repository is here. I don't want to have different repos for ARM64 and AMD64. I want to have one path. I want, when I'm done with my code, like, here's my code, like, go run it. So I'm letting these, right now it's GitHub Actions and Circle CI workflows. I'm letting it happen, but my preference is I want a centralized CI/CD. I don't want to have to go and update a bunch of GitHub Actions and repos when I make a change. I want a centralized, and we'll get into that later. But this way, if you're on ARM64, you can literally deploy all of these things, right? I can have can service list -a. I can have all these things deployed. Right now it's just 2, but I can deploy more. I'm very comfortable with that. I can have these things deployed to my laptop, but they're all scaled to 0, right? They're not running, they're not consuming resources until we go and hit it. And when we hit it, especially for this, right? Especially for this thing that we're doing, right? This job, right? This thing is only going to be called when I create a video or I update a video, right? So it doesn't need to be running 24/7. But I still like all the other things that Spring Boot gives me, right? I still like all the other production ready things. I still like the easy path. Like I get all my same tools. Everything feels the same, but I'm not eating up a bunch of extra resources. and we're gonna do some more fun things. So that's my thoughts. I've got opinions, but yeah, like ask questions. That's what we're trying to do. So let me go and build this, the secret again. I've been stuck on here for a little bit. I want to build the secret, and then I'm going to pull the secret out. So I'm going to do this on a different screen. Generic tunnel credentials -- from - file equals credentials dot JSON equals / users Deshaun dot Cloudflare D. Now, which one of these is it? It's this one. So that's the ID that I'm trying to build secrets for. Again, and I'm trying to put enough of these pieces out there so you can do the same thing. I think it's pretty cool. I definitely couldn't do this years ago, right? So now I've got a secret that's there. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to pull that secret out. I'm going to say kubectl get secret generic tunnel credentials -o. I don't even need a -o. Oh, get secret. Describe secret, sorry. I forget. -o JSON. Please hold. Try not to put the secrets out on the screen. Because I've done that enough. Like, you guys are great, but I don't have cloud money. I only have Raspberry Pi money. And I want to keep it. So let me go in and now update these secrets. And I have now a Java grunt com tunnel secret here. And now I can go and run this command, except not for the Deshaun dev tunnel. I'm going to run it. So I'm going to pass these secrets into my Kubernetes cluster so that just it's the secrets for the Java grunt com tunnel. So I can have that Java grunt, that service. I want you to be able to hit it. So I'm hoping that this is the last step I need to do. So let's do that. Customize build /env Java grunt -com -tunnel. Let's make sure that I have the right. Yeah, that's the right secret that I'm trying to fill in. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. I thank you for joining. I'm here. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to get a head start on my New Year's resolutions. I'm going to be here from 8:30 to 10:30 Central every day. I'm going to be talking about Spring Boot, Raspberry Pis, getting things to production, Kubernetes, and this is what we're doing. Yesterday we built this YouTube listener because we're going to do some interesting things. And right now I'm trying to get it to production. But I've got no timeline. I don't care. This is the main thing. Like I want everybody to understand. I'm here hanging out. Let me do this. Like this is the main thing. Like I want to be here to ask questions. When I left Garmin and went to the startup, I had awesome buddies, but sometimes I needed more. I needed to ask questions. My head is going. I used to have Bobby that I could go and hang out at lunch and we could talk. And we could talk about new things. And sometimes you miss that, right? I've got an awesome team. I get to do that all the time. But I want to be available. My role is a Spring Developer Advocate now at Broadcom. And I want to be that. There's a lot of times in my life where I wish I had somebody to ask questions. I wish I had somebody that I could go to and not get embarrassed. I want it to be a safe place where you can ask anything. And that's it. So I can stop. I don't have to take anything in production. I can sit here and ask questions and I will do it all day, every day. I'm here at your service. And if it's spring, that just makes me happier. If you're deploying to Raspberry Pis, that's going to make me happier even more. But this is what I'm doing. So right now, I'm going to try to get this deployed. I'm going to try to get this out to production. So I'm going to build. Again, I try to do everything in the open. It might hurt me later on, but we'll see. So this is what I'm running right now. I'm going to do that, and I want to do the env substitution because I put those secrets into my environment. Apply -f env subs. It said no objects passed to apply. So what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I was hoping that I was doing this. My customization says, hey, I want to deploy this. And this says, I want to deploy this credentials.json, Java grunt com tunnel secret. I want to put that into this Java grunt com namespace. I want to put these tunnel credentials into this namespace. But I did something wrong. Hi. Hi. Welcome in. Muad. Did I say that right? I gave it a try. Muad. My name is Sean. I'm a Spring Developer Advocate. This is what we're doing. One of those things that I need to do is like the commands, gear, keyboard. I put a picture up the other day. Actually, like I got a little thumb mouse thing for space. My desk is a mess. My whole life is a mess. Like, who am I kidding? But I'll start putting up some of these. Have a bot that we can start to share some of this stuff. But let me try this again. I did something wrong with this. Oh, because I didn't spell it right. There we go. So now, remember a second ago, well, still, we don't have a Java grunt -com. This is what I want. So, which pies are you using in your cluster? That is a great question. So, right now I'm deploying to my local machine. As far as Raspberry Pis, I've got literally dozens of them. I will show you kind of the thing that I've been talking about the most, even though I'm not using it at the moment. This is my website where you can go. I'll try to put these projects out there. But here, I did this K3s on Raspberry Pi cluster hat. So this is a Raspberry Pi 4 that has 4 Raspberry Pi 02s, these little $15 ones, attached to a cluster hat. So I've got all the specs here for what you need to do. And instructions, like if you want to follow along. This is 150, even with the case and everything, $150 max. And you could do it with a Raspberry Pi 5. But it becomes a 5-node cluster. And I can show you what that looks like. Even though there's nothing running on it, I have all of these different clusters. We'll get into building it. That's not as much fun. The Kubernetes stuff isn't as much fun for me. We're going to switch to this cluster hat. which is this, right? It's I think it's that actual instance of it. I've got multiple of them, but I'm going to show you kubectl get nodes -o wide, and you'll see. Oh, let's do this. There are 5 nodes. This is the main, that Raspberry Pi 4, and then these are the child. You know, the ones that are attached to the cluster hat. So it's running K3s, and I don't think there's really anything installed on there right now. Maybe Cilium? Let's look. I don't think there's anything installed on it at the moment. Wait, it's not even, this one doesn't even have my Flux installed. So that's a issue. We gotta get that going. So we'll circle back to that. But this is one that's on, so look at this. This is one that's on a different subnet or a different physical network. So just a fun reminder. Hello. Let's look at basement. Kubectl get nodes -o wide. And these are, they're Raspberry Pis 4s, but they all have a power over Ethernet hat. So there's 3 of those. These machines are the Libre computer, so not a Raspberry Pi. They're ARM64, but they're not Raspberry Pis. These are, I think, 2 gig Le Potato is what they're called. So these are all set up in a cluster, and then this is the beefy box. This is an Ampere developer platform, so it's got 96 cores, ARM64, just like you'll find in Azure and Oracle Cloud and GCP. So that's fun. We'll get into all that later. But as far as Raspberry Pis, that's my jam. I'm happy to explore. If you got questions about it, yeah, we'll be getting deeper into the Raspberry Pi stuff real soon. Thanks for being here. Things are messy. So what I have now is, let's go back to our daily driver, K3-use, and let's go back to K9s. And I still don't see the, oh, I know why. Because in my tenant, maybe, in my tenant, I didn't say deploy Cloud4D yet. So let's look. This should be here. All of that should already be, oops, wrong namespace. I want it to be deployed to javagrunt-com. I'm just search and replace, right? I want this to be exposed. So just a second, you should be able to hit our YouTube listener if we're doing this right. So git status, git add that, git commit, add, oh wait, no, I didn't do it all the way, sorry. So I have the file, but I've got to tell my customization to go deploy that file, cloudflare d.yaml. And by doing it this way, I have this easy way of moving tenants around to different machines. So right now, effectively, the only cluster that I've got JavaGrunt deployed to is my daily driver, my K3D juice. And I did that by just saying, hey, I want you to deploy. I got 2 tenants deployed to this machine. But if I want to move this tenant to another machine or deploy it again in another cluster, all I've got to do is copy this file to one of the other clusters. And it will deploy everything because I'm using Flux, and it'll just automatically deploy it. So we can circle back to that, because once I'm done on here, once I've decided it's going to production, I'll move that tenant off of here and I'll have it deployed back there. And when I say back there, that's where the nooks and the Raspberry Pis are. You know what? Actually, I got something pretty cool that I think I can do. Let me see if I can do this. There's a way. Maybe. Launch, open. I have a camera back there. And I was going to see if I could connect to it, but I don't see that. Here we go. we'll keep on going. We are going to deploy this. We made our changes. Git add, git commit, and this is the Cloudflare D. So now we're here. Now we expect to see a namespace for javagrunt-com that has another Cloudflare D instance. We expect to see that coming up. And I'm realizing that I have a meeting in 15 minutes. That's disappointing. Yep. So let's hope that this goes to production quickly. Oh, and you know what? Remember earlier, maybe you don't remember. I might need to bootstrap because I don't have this figured out to where my nested configurations get updated and get pulled. So I need to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a little bootstrap here. Am I on the right cluster? Yep. So let's just run this again. Say, hey, go do that thing. And hopefully this is going to go through and pull in. There it is. So look at this. We now have Cloudflare D running. I've got it associated to the tunnel. I got one more thing to do. I have one more thing I need to do. I need to set up the DNS for that listener to the and point it to the tunnel. And unfortunately, this is another thing I'm gonna have to do off the screen. So bear with me, please hold. Oh, I got a lot of these. I got a lot of stuff set up over here. I forget how to do it. Where's my... There we go, peek. I'm gonna go look at the Sean.io as my example. And basically, I'm gonna point the URL to this well-defined Argo tunnel. And I'm gonna tell Cloudflare, like, hey, if you get requests for this, send it to this tunnel. And this tunnel is backed by my laptop. Where did... There it is. So, sorry, just to like not put secrets and stuff on the screen. So we're going to add a CNAME for, what do I call it? YouTube-listener. And it's going to point to my tunnel. So I got to grab that tunnel ID real quick. And yes, this should be in Git as well, and it's not. I hear you. Stop yelling at me. So here we go. We have that record deployed now. We should be able to do this. We should be able to say Cloudflare D tunnel list. And we can see that I've got connections. And that DNS should be set up. So now here's the thing. What I'm expecting, we'll give it a second to connect the dots, but what I'm expecting is that now, if we go to this YouTube-listener, did I do that right? Let me double check. Yep, YouTube-listener.javagrunt.com. If we go to there, that it will start up here. And let's add the /docs. Does somebody want to hit that URL And let's see if that'll pop up. Because again, the service is deployed. It's scaled to 0. Look at that. Look at that. That's what. All right. So now it's up. Can you see the docs? Right. What we're expecting is that we can see the docs for a YouTube listener. So now we're up. So you can hit that URL. So hopefully PubSub, Hubbub can hit that URL as well. So now let's go back and let's see if we can connect the dots, because I've got a meeting, but we're deployed. We've connected this. We're here. Now let's go to our docs. Oh, is that it right here? Look at that. Oh, there's the URL. This is our where we subscribe. This is interesting. So I don't know. So something weird is happening. Think the content type is off. Oh, okay. So let's take a look and see. HTTPS. Oh, we got to add the index.html. YouTube listener.javagrunt.com docs index.html, which is weird, but I got to fix that. So I'm sure that's what the problem was. Yeah. Okay. So put index.html on there. Let me fix that. And then you're seeing the docs. So that's the documentation that we made yesterday. You should be able to run this command. Like, part of having the docs is giving you an example if you've got HTTP, right? So I'm using HTTP here, but it gives you an example of how to run and hit it. We should be able to hit the actuator health endpoint. Boom. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the responses in our code. I can do that later, but I should also be able to see info. The version info. All right, we're cooking with gas. So now I want to go to the docs that we had yesterday. So I'm going to try to find the where's the doc? I had it yesterday. I don't know where it is now. We could just do this, but I don't know what these things mean. Yeah, I don't know what these things mean. Let's go back here. All right, welcome to the Google PubSub hub. This hub conforms to this specific. Okay, so I didn't know that there was a specification. I don't think I looked at this before. From 2014. Simple, web scale, decentralized PubSub protocol. Anybody can play, as opposed to more developed and more complex PubSub specs like Jabber, which I'm a fan of. Simplify, status, copyright. All right, we'll take a look at. I'm going to bookmark that. Let's take a look at that later. In addition, the hub conforms to, with the exception of permanent subscriptions. Because of this, you will need to refresh each of your subscriptions periodically, ideally just before hub.least seconds elapse since the last successful subscription. All right, this is good stuff to know. Use this hub with your feeds. Add Atom link, Atom feeds, Atom link. Alternatively, your feed can be served with 2 link headers. Whenever new content is added to a feed, notify the hub. This is accomplished by sending a post with content type. Okay, I want the other doc, and I really wish I would have YouTube. Here we go. Is this it? Oh man. So, I don't remember where it is, but I have a meeting starting here in a couple minutes. So let me do this. I know I wanted it to stream until 10:30 at least. So here's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to come back. I'm gonna have to come back and stream later. That's all there is to it, because we're not done. So yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do. We're not done. I'm gonna have to come back and stream later. And I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of this meeting, and I apologize. But yeah, I'm gonna come back. So check back later. I'll schedule it. Actually, let me just schedule it right now. What time we're gonna come back? We're gonna come back on at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Central. I'm gonna schedule it now, and we'll be back at 2 o'clock Central. So thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a good day. And if you feel like coming back and hanging out, let's get this into production. I'll see you then.